Welcome back, folks. It's another episode of It's About Payroll. Gosh, we're like 193. We have an amazing guest today, Melissa Walker. How do you do, ma'am?
Thank you so much for having me. Really excited to be here today, Brian Walt.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Yeah.
we're definitely honored. This has been a long time coming, and we're super excited to learn from you and get your insight
Yes.
in the industry and
Yes.
your perspective.
Yep. Before that, we got couple of little news things we'd like to share. And before that, what's going on, Walt? How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm blessed. Everything seems like it was just a whirlwind. We were talking about year in, and year in has come and
Come
gone. It's
on.
one the tail end of it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and everything. So yeah, it's been crazy, man.
Well, what
It's
day
been
is it?
crazy.
Oh,
How
I
about
guess
you?
folks. I mean, I'm just like, wait a minute. People are no by now. Everything's got to be done and booked, and so W-2s can get out, right? So
Yeah,
okay, yeah. No,
Now this
good.
your peak season, right? This is the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. WTC, season. Yeah.
I'll ask you about your season in a minute. That made me think. Wait, do you have a season? Keep that in mind. Keep the answer. Don't let me forget. Well, we've been doing this financial fitness challenge, and look, and if you have stuff out there, Melissa, throw it out there. But we started on our own, like doing financial fitness for our business, for ourselves, and then it expanded. We were like, wait a minute, we can do this for payrollers as well. And what I like to do for payroll folks is share ideas where payrollers can save their companies money. And just like, and think about this for yourself as well, for coming from the benefits side, because benefits and payroll, everybody's like, oh, you guys are back office, you cost money, you're never, you just cost money. Like, well, hold on now. But we also know how to save the company money. And we mitigate risk. We have good things that folks are not thinking about that they can save money
Mhm.
with. So one of them that I have, the one I have for today, and it's very appropriate for the OB3 is what it's been rebranded as, the OBBBBB, one big beautiful bill,
Yeah.
which really forces payroll folks to think about and revisit the regular rate of pay. And this is where companies lose money quietly and then pay it loudly later. So if they're not realizing that they're overlooking things now and how they calculate their pay, and then if they get audited, like I hope folks realize that this OB3 is setting you up for a possible audit later in the next year or two because it forces the systems and payrollers to calculate properly. And if you're not, they may catch you down the road where they'll come in as an audit. So just a few quick tips. It's ensure bonuses, differentials, and commissions are included it correctly when required. Validate non-discretionary bonus handling and retro calculations, and reduce wage claim risk and surprise back pay events. So if you just, one more money saved, settlements, penalties, legal costs, and retro pay cleanups. Just something that you could do as a payroll person to say, hey, company, let's do this and we can possibly save money. Yeah.
Nice, man. Thank
And
you for
yeah,
that.
of course, any thoughts?
Yeah, right.
Appreciate
So when would be the best time to talk to a company about that? Or is it anytime?
Now. Now.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime. Yep, now because OB3 is they made some concessions for 25, the reporting of it all and the probably the backup and they're being flexible for 25. 26 is when they're gonna start holding companies, kinda to the law. Reporting has to be accurate. Systems didn't even do it right in 25, right? Or according
Mhm.
to OB3, not right or wrong. So yeah, now is great because you got, even if it takes a little while to fix it, before the year ends, you can always kind of go back and correct, shoot, I would even say before the quarter ends, before Q1 ends, because you don't want to cross quarters and then have to do prior quarter adjustments because you didn't fix it in the quarter. So I would say Q1, probably best bet. Yeah.
Is that something that all payroll vendors should be providing as a service or not necessarily?
Not necessarily, because notorious unless okay, what all vendors have done, what I've noticed with vendors recently, and Walt, you could probably confirm, is that they are all selling compliance separately, right?
Mhm.
Traditionally, vendors didn't chime in on compliance. Even though folks would ask, like, "Hey, you're the biggest system in the world. How come you're not giving me any guidance?" And so eventually they caught up and they were like, "Oh, we can if you pay up, if you get the compliance, the HR compliance package or the this pack, whatever, then we'll give you compliance." So yeah, you really got to kind of reach out to your vendor and see what they're willing to share. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, yeah,
It's also scary, right? Because for
yes,
someone that maybe they're not really a payroll expert, but they wear the payroll hat, they were thrown into that position
yes,
and they don't know the ins and outs and all the compliance rules, laws, regulations. It can vary state by state if you
yep.
have employees in various states. So for someone like that, total risk to, be taking on yourself.
And it's so funny you say state by state. I just read something on a post, and that was like, "Oh, California is requiring something else," and it reminded me kind of. I wanted to chime in like it's regular rate of pay. Just do that and you'll be fine. But oof, it's so much. And forget about it. We could probably do a whole episode on just how California differs from the OBB. Yeah. Whoa, you got any news for us today?
Yeah, just a quick update about COLA, the cost of living
Oh, I
adjustment
thought you were
for
gonna say soda.
2026.
No,
No, no, no.
soda pop.
Without the cost of living adjustment, no, it increased to 2.8% in 2026. So this really impacts the Social Security
Oh, got it.
payments and stuff like that. No security
Retirement. Yeah.
beneficiaries. Some of the folks that if you get military pay as a veteran,
Ooh.
that will impact you as well
Ooh.
because that will automatically impact that. If you're a government worker and you get cost of living or a military worker, that will impact you as well. So, and I want to tie that to how that may impact those people's payroll because with the COLA increase, your payroll, even though it might be a slight increase, your payroll is going to go up
Yeah.
because of that increase as well. So, just for something, if you process government or contractual payrolls, even union payrolls,
Mm-hmm.
something for you to consider
Mm-hmm.
that if you see a slight increase, our finance comes to you and asks you a question like, "Hey, why did payroll go up?"
What? Yep.
You know,
Yep.
that's
That's
something.
a good one. Yeah. Because yeah.
Oh, go ahead,
No,
Brett.
go right ahead. Yeah.
All right.
No, no, I was just gonna chime in. COLA, that also applies to disability payments. That's something too that not all brokers know to include that as an additional rider in a disability policy. And
Wow.
so if God forbid something happens to one of your employees and they go out on long-term disability, let's say they had, a stroke, God forbid, is that policy going to carry them through those years with the COLA, with the cost of living adjustment? So
Right.
that rider's not included, their benefit will stay flat.
See what I'm saying? Right there we
Wow.
go. That's why you're
Love it right
on.
there.
Yes. I got a quick one before we get into the meat of the show here. I saw a article out there on the wires that Paychex and PayPal teamed up to bring direct deposits to folks earlier. So if you get paid by Paychex already, you gotta be paid by Paycheck, right? Your company's got to be using Paychex. You can sign up for a PayPal account for direct deposit and get that whole 2-day earlier bit where I don't know if you like Chime and these other, Cash App and banks. Some banks are trying to do it as well, right? And then
Me
allowing employees to get paid earlier. We actually kind of covered that with Trent on the Coda Pay conversation we had last week with real
Yep.
time payments and kind of the death of the payroll window. And this is more of the same now, for payrollers, I would just go look at the fine print because it is contingent on, well, some of them are contingent on when we press the button. So if we push it to the limit on the last possible moment that we can process, some of these quick pays don't turn around in time for the 2-day earlier. So keep that in mind. Yeah. So if your employees start complaining like, I did this and I'm not getting paid early, it is sometimes contingent on when the payroll person actually pushes the file. So
Good
yeah,
night.
keep that in mind. Yep. So again, today we're joined by Melissa Walker, co-founder and VP of of a brokerage. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Let me repeat. Melissa Walker, co-founder and VP of Brokerage at Sounder Benefits. Melissa is helping modern companies rethink benefits from smarter strategy and better employee experiences to how AI is changing what's possible. We're digging into her origin story, benefits in AI, and why benefits isn't a cost center. It's a business strategy. Welcome to the show again, Melissa.
Thank you so much,
Awesome.
Brian and Walt. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Oh, and you see, I
Yeah,
love
I'm
how things
excited.
just happen, right? Because it's in there how benefits isn't a cost center, right? It's a business strategy, and we're going to talk more about that. But you want to start us off?
Yeah. So, Melissa, tell listeners about yourself, right? So, for anyone meeting you for the first time, what is Sounder Benefits? What do you do at Sounder Benefits? And who do you serve best? But first, tell people about yourself first.
Yeah, thanks, Walt. So, hey,
Yeah.
everyone. Glad to be here on today's show. I'm Melissa Walker. I've been working in the benefits industry for over a decade and a half now. I'm licensed across all 50 states. I work with all major carriers, sometimes PEOs when it makes sense. Doesn't always make sense, and all across the ancillary lines as well as compliance. So I've been, in this field for quite some time now. I've worked at several brokerages, carrier side as well, which was, of course, a really interesting perspective because to see what really goes on inside a health insurance carrier in the day to day and how things run is really quite interesting. And
Mm,
that's really where my passion started, to change healthcare for the better, to make it more accessible, affordable, and less complex. So I kind of have bounced back and forth between the broker side and the carrier side. I've also worked at a TPA for self funded plans. And in my last role, I was leading a health and benefits team across all 50 states at a publicly traded brokerage.
wow.
It's a great gig, had a great time, learned a lot, but it got to a point where I said, you know what?
Welcome to the Hire Her podcast, where women in talent call all the shots. We know, another recruiting podcast, just what the industry needs. Okay, but hear us out. You ever spend hours sourcing that perfect candidate, but they end up ghosting you harder than your hinge date? Or finally, you get that hiring manager feedback, only for them to, of course, say, "Can we see more candidates?" Lame, right? But let's talk about what's really lame in the industry. How is it that 65% of recruiters are brilliant women, yet most of the decision makers look like a convention for middle-aged dudes named Brad?
That's where we come in. Hire Her isn't just another podcast about hiring trends you already heard like 50 times this week. We're here to elevate women in talent, share their career journeys, and make sure they take the lead. Because let's face it, if recruiting is the backbone of every company, why are we still fighting for a seat at the table? So whether you're a recruiter, a talent leader, or just someone trying to swim through the sausage fest of TA leadership, we got you, girl. Welcome to Hire Her, the recruiting podcast where women's voices aren't just heard, but they're leading the conversation.
So subscribe now, because middle management Brad sure as hell isn't going to do it for you.
It's stability does not equal passion. Stability does not equal change or impact. And I said, you know what? It's time to go. I didn't know what was next for me. I knew that it had to be something that got me excited every morning to wake up and feel like I'm making a difference to the clients that I serve, to the world, to this healthcare system where everyone just, it's broken, it's broken. Everyone says that all the time. So yes, it's an uphill battle. Some days are certainly challenging, but that's what really gets me going, breaking the
Wow.
status quo. And so I joined up with Brian and Sal, and we are the two co-founders of Sounder Benefits. We launched in July 2024. And fast forward to today, we have just under 100 clients
Amazing.
all across the country in multiple different industries. And we were making this huge impact, right? Because with health and benefits, Specifically, over $586 billion has been invested in healthcare
Oh my
just the
God.
last decade alone. I know,
Wow.
huge number. But yet the question is, well, there's been so much investment, involvement in technology. So why is healthcare so expensive?
Mm.
Why are premiums skyrocketing every single year? And so we believe here at Sounder that innovation is not going down market. For groups that have 1,000 plus employees, they have that scalability. And so Sounder, not only are we bringing innovation down market, but we've also developed our own proprietary technology to really scale the market, make it more simplified, right? Benefits, it doesn't have to be so complex. And that's our philosophy. And so the value that we're driving to our clients is let us be the expert. We can get something in place for you that scales with you as a company, grows with you, whether you're a startup or thinking more strategic. We can help you at every stage of growth.
Amazing.
Wow. I
Amazing.
love
Yeah, I love that. You said something that made me think, was there, and if so, what was the moment you realized the way companies do benefits today isn't working?
Yeah. Yeah. So every market is a little bit complex. I will say at my last position where I really dove outside of the tri-state area to learn about benefits across all 50 states and different markets. And the biggest thing that Sounder that we're changing is the fact that you have this entire healthcare system, right? It's extremely complex. It varies by region, by market, by state, underwriting guidelines, which carriers are available, which plans are available, which products. You have all of these layers that get so complex so fast. And so by leveraging technology and AI, that's where we can really see scale, but then also where Sounder is able to deliver on the value and make that larger impact.
That's the perfect segue to my next question for you. When people hear AI and benefits, what do you think they think it means versus what it actually means?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. Oh, well, I think a lot of people are unsure, right? I think most people are unsure about AI's involvement in benefits. Why do I say that? Because I'm constantly hearing from clients and people in the industry of, okay, so if I use this tool, for example, whether it's Gemini, Chat GPT, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and I ask it a question about my own benefits plan, and then what happens if it's wrong? Now I just relied on wrong information. I'm going to the doctor and my AI bot told me it's 20% coinsurance, but it forgot to tell me I have a $4,000 deductible, then 20% coinsurance. And so I do hear from the market some hesitancy, but I think that the consumer, but then also what's available, it's not completely aligned. And so
Mm.
I'm really glad you brought this up. I was talking to my co-founder Brian and Sal just the other day, and we were talking about AI and doctor visits. Did you guys know there's an AI tool and you can seek care for yourself over the phone and it's all AI and
No.
and they can prescribe you a medication.
Yeah, right.
No, you're
I swear.
no.
I swear.
Oh my God.
So I tried to do it myself before jumping on the podcast this evening, and unfortunately, it got stuck for me. So I
Ah,
too much to it, but it is
Mm.
true. It does exist, and people are using it. My AI bot had messaged me when I logged in and said I helped 23,000 people today.
Wow.
So it makes you question though, right? Because so many people are saying, oh my God, I'm going to lose my job, this and that. You know what? I think we're going to evolve as a society. I think we're going
Cool.
to use AI tools to leverage our capabilities to make us more efficient, to automate processes where, it might take several hours if you do something manually, but now at a click of a button, AI can leverage that time. Will there be some jobs that are lost? Sure, I think so.
yeah.
But I think as society, if we evolve and embrace this technology, can it be beneficial for all? I do think so.
Yeah, there'll be
And
new ones.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, and every day this tech, this AI tech, it's evolving and getting smarter and smarter. I think when it comes to payroll too, that's one thing that because benefits and payroll really does go hand in hand.
Mhm.
You with payroll providers probably every day, including you guys, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so, when it comes to I can't help but think, where are we going with this? We already have technology here at Sounder where we can use this AI tool, upload a benefit summary, and then the entire system builds itself.
Oh
Okay,
my
this
god.
no, and it's
Wow.
long are the days where you were manually typing in, maybe making a mistake, getting rid of that human error.
Yeah.
Huge, huge.
Wow.
Amazing. Holy cow.
How do you guys think AI is going to impact payroll?
We talk about this we talk about it all the time. I think we did a whole show
Yeah.
on it. Prediction is that we become payroll pilots and it will it will shrink big teams
Yep.
and there'll be one person just kind of making sure everything is okay, interpreting data maybe for leadership, non-payroll people, and more so because the human experience I think won't allow for just no person to be in between them and the payroll system,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Just like the benefits, I'm gonna need somebody to talk to me about benefits. I'm not gonna rely. I'm not gonna be comfortable with just the AI. I want you, Melissa, to tell me what the AI is saying and why.
100%. I think that that's something that across all industries, benefits, payroll, any industry out there,
Mhm.
no one wants to lose that human connection, right? And
Yep.
AI can't make up for that. No
Mhm.
matter how much we try to train and teach these machines, there's something about that human connection and
Yep.
getting your issue resolved, speaking with a live person on the phone that's has compassion, is empathetic, and is there and understands the urgency of your issue, whether it's, hey, my paycheck, it didn't hit my bank account. What happened
What
here?
now? Yep.
Right.
Yep. Exactly.
Um,
What were you gonna say, Walt?
Look, I piggyback off of what you said. I think you both made really good points here about it. I think AI may cause, payroll pros to build their own payroll firms, right? So I may get together with a couple of my
Good
friends
one.
in the industry and, we just all together just start processing for different companies, right? Because
Good
AI
one.
is going to we're going to get so efficient and so
Yes.
good at processing.
Yes.
Like we'll be able to do a payroll job. Won't even take us a full day to process payroll with everything, all the tools that we have in place. So I think you're going to start seeing more little pockets of payroll businesses, even benefit businesses pop up because like, as we acclimate to AI and using that as more of a resource and tool to help us become more efficient, I think we're going to start seeing a little bit more of that in our day to day lives.
I have a question with
Mhm.
with that being said. So could it be that, someone that's a recent college grad, right, entry level, they don't even know that you can have an entire career, an incredible career in payroll. And now you can also utilize AI technology. Is that something that you think like this younger generation that's attractive to them? And is that something that could be a great tool to attract younger generations?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
And
Yep.
it's I thank you for the alley oop there, Melissa.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug on its way. The subtitles change, but the book is the manuscript right here,
So
and it's exactly that. This is just kind of like, hey, young folks, this is what payroll could do for your life. It's a career, it's a whole thing. Come and just if this interests you, seek us out and we get you into the biz. 'Cause yeah,
Great
it
question.
it right? And it's in there, right? Like technology, I think, is the biggest thing that I just actually met a college job placement. Like she works at the college and helps the people get work. And she's like, "Oh, I need to get my IT people work." they're having trouble finding work. And I was like, payroll. Tell them to go to payroll. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Systems, implementations, like they'll thrive, and they're not thinking of it. They want to go IT. They're not thinking, wait, oh, I can go HRIS, benefit and like
That's
benefit support, right? There's so much technology that's needed and mapping and the data with the benefit piece,
yep.
right? Like
Yep.
the AI that you got, right? Like it's there. So yeah,
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 that's a good point. Even though, no, unfortunately, many people did lose their jobs in 2025. It was the tech industry was heavily hit, but I think by keeping up with the technology evolving and thinking outside of the box, your tech
Yeah.
skills are just as important as
absolutely.
any other skill.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's just like it forces folks, you got to go reinvent yourself. You got to pivot. Yeah. And so talking so much about AI, where do you see AI creating real impact first? Is it cost control? Is it maybe the employee experience, better outcomes, and why?
Everything, all of the all of the above.
Yep.
With sounder benefits too, one area that we really focus on because benefits, it is complex, right? I
Mhm.
can't tell you how many times I've stood up in front of a crowd and I'm explaining this is your deductible, this is your co-insurance, your co-pays, eyes glass over.
Yep.
1 in 4 Americans understand basic health insurance terms.
Wow.
Wow.
Shocking, right? Considering after payroll, the next highest expense is
Benefits.
benefits.
Wow.
So to not be well versed or understand these basic terms that are impacting you financially,
Oh
right?
my
It's
God.
shocking.
And,
Yes.
and and that goes, Melissa, that goes back into your point about the human connection, right? Because AI may not articulate that or put it in a way that I understand it, but you, as a benefit pro, could be able to explain that to someone so they can actually digest that information,
Exactly.
right? Yeah.
Exactly. And, I think that's another thing too with Sounder. The technology that we've developed makes it so easy for our clients. And then we get ready for that open enrollment presentation, it's a little bit easier the way that we approach open enrollment because we literally have this tool that figures out which of the 3 plans are going to deliver the highest return on investment and the highest value and why. And so when we
Wow.
present to the employees, we're focusing on which plans are the highest value for you and your spouse, you and your children, or your entire family. And so
That's
we
so
have
cool.
it's so cool. And
Amazing.
this past open enrollment was it was a milestone for Sounder Benefits because we were facing our clients' first renewals ever with Sounder.
Wow.
Yes. Congratulations. Wow.
Thank
How'd it
you.
go?
Yeah. Awesome.
It was incredible. It's hearing firsthand from the employees of you made this easy. I understand. I'm walking away from today and I know which plan I'm selecting and why. Oh my gosh, the feedback, I was like, keep it coming because this is what
Wow.
drives
That's
us
yes.
to change the way that the system works.
Yes.
Wow.
Amazing.
So let me ask you this, Melissa. Is there anything or one thing that businesses or companies should be careful about in terms of AI and benefits so it helps them instead of adding risk to them?
Yeah. So, yes and no. And there are a
Okay.
lot of tools out there that are starting to be utilized by employees. I've seen a lot of tools in the market lately where it helps the employee pick a specific plan based on their specific needs. But
Mm,
the question is, how are these tools, figuring that out and determining that?
yeah.
Is it based off of the employee's utilization? Are they looking at the employee's personal data? That should be PHI HIPAA protected. So I don't think these tools are actually going that deep. But with our solution, we're essentially getting rid of that need because if you're building the plans up front and you're building high value options up front, no matter which plan the employee picks, they're all high value. And so then the question is, well, of these three, which is the best for my situation and why? And then, explaining that to the employee.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
we had a case back in 2025, and we were leveraging our AI technology to be able to review this client's plans and what they were potentially going to get at renewal. So they were a large group, and they had over 12,000 plan offerings available to them. 12,000 by one carrier, which is just mind blowing, right? Because you think, how does a broker go through 12,000 plans and they're able to determine these are the plans that you should offer your employees, right? These are the questions employees should be asking. What happened during that process, and why are these the plans that are being offered today?
Mm.
So, what happens during that process? A lot of things happen. There could be misaligned incentives. There could be, trade offs where a broker comes in and says, look, I can lower your premium, but you have to give up your network. You have to raise your deductibles. You have to limit flexibility. Sounder, we do the exact opposite. And so we were working on this case in the summer months. And we took a look at all of their data before they even got their renewal. And we told them, you're going to get a 25% rate increase.
Mm.
Ooh, huge increase, right?
Oh my
Not,
God.
not the highest that we heard this past year, which is wild because that is very high. And they were a little bit hesitant because they didn't get their renewal yet.
Yeah.
And
Like, we predicting the future now? Get out of here.
yeah, or crystal ball.
Yeah.
Mm.
So we ended up re-engaging with them. They came back with their renewal, and what the incumbent broker was proposing to them, which was exactly what we said. You have to shrink your network. You have to increase your deductibles. We should move you back to fully insured. We should take a look at, different carriers. All of these things are not adding value. They're taking value away from the employees.
Yep.
So at what cost for the company to reduce their premiums, but now there's trade-offs. And so we came back, we delivered more flexibility. We delivered a way to reinvest back into the benefits. The employees on average saved about $1,200 annually. And we kept a national network, didn't change the carrier, and it resulted in a 9% single digit rate increase, which is still an increase. But would you like to have the 25% or the 9%?
And
Yep.
then not only that, 25% and still have to make all these changes, or no 20, right? And like, it's a no-brainer.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
wild.
amazing.
Yeah.
Perfect segue again. If a company wants to get smarter this quarter, what's one practical move they can make in benefits without blowing everything up?
AI is incredible. It can teach you how to fry an egg and even write a poem, pirate style. Yarr! But it knows nothing about your work. Slackbot is different. It doesn't just know the facts. It knows your schedule. It can turn a brainstorm into a brief. And it doesn't need to be taught. Because Slackbot isn't just another AI. It's AI that knows your work as well as you do. Visit slack.com/meet Slackbot to learn more.
So that's a great question. With benefits, it doesn't have to be something that happens today and is immediate. Benefits can be a roadmap. We can talk about a long-term strategy.
There you go.
That's something that actually joining Sounder and joining up with Brian and Sal, I've learned a lot. Already known a lot of information about benefits, but I've learned a lot too.
Wow.
And re-quoting or quoting to quote, or depending on also the market as well, right? Meaning like the group size, how many employees are they considered small, mid-size, a large company? Quoting isn't necessarily a great mid-year off-cycle strategy. Instead, what is a better strategy is coming together and learning, what are the core business objectives? What are you looking to achieve this year? Maybe it's moving payroll platforms. That's a huge undertaking, huge.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so what can we do as your benefits advisor and partner to enhance that, to help you, to support you through that change.
Wow.
We have a client right now that we're already planning for June
Yeah.
because it's time. You have to take action early.
Yep.
And then for groups that are thinking about, oh, I just closed open enrollment. It was tough this year. I'm done. I don't want to talk about benefits. Now is actually the time to be talking about benefits.
Absolutely.
When your renewal hits, if you're
Mm.
starting to strategize then, it's too late.
Too late. It's way too late. Yeah.
Way too late. Yeah.
Wow. I love it.
Wow. Okay, so you said that benefits should be viewed as a strategy, right? Not just a renewal. So what does this actually look like in practice?
Yeah, that's a good question. So when you think about benefits as a whole, it's also important to understand, well, what are the objectives of the client, right? Is it attracting and retaining top talent? Then maybe they're struggling in that area. Benefits can be a really great tool for holding on to your top talent as well as recruiting our top
Yep.
talent. But the benefits also have to be set up in a way that it's competitive. And so how do you know that you're competitive? Right. So your advisor should be running benchmarking reports, should be advising on, your overall utilization, preparing data for you, data points to consider. And this is regardless of your group size too, by the way. That's the
Really?
thing too that I've come across. So Sounder, we focus, with groups all the way up to about 1,000 lives. Not to say above 1,000 we don't assist, we do, but it is a different strategy above 1,000. But in the small and mid-sized market, businesses are getting crushed by these premiums.
Yep.
And it's really important to take a strategic approach, an innovative approach. Are we fully insured today? When does it make sense to go level funded? Or should we be a pure self-insured group? And how do you know?
Wow.
And so taking a look at all of these different dynamics, looking at the census population, the top 10 claimants, do they have care navigation programs in place today? Maybe. They're probably being underutilized because most people don't even know what that means.
Nope.
Wow.
You lost me for like the past 30, 60 seconds, 90 seconds. I'm like, what? We need a whole nother show just so you could break all those
Yep.
things down.
Yep.
Holy moly. So in this show, what are 2 or 3 signals that tell you a company's benefits are truly working?
Yeah. So, gosh, that's a tough one. So there are times, right, where I personally have seen some groups get decreases. Uh,
Ooh, wow.
Pretty rare,
Okay.
right, in this day and age, but I have seen it. I have seen it too in the Florida market.
Oh,
Believe, yeah, Florida market is really interesting, and we've seen Florida Blue, which is your Blue
yep.
Cross Blue Shield down there. Florida Blue tends to be really, really great at population risk management and ensuring that the rates are appropriate based on the specific market. And so in Florida, yes, I have seen specific rate decreases. Does that mean that a group or a benefit strategy is successful? Maybe, but it also depends on, well, what are their objectives? Did we accomplish what we were looking to do this past year? And what are we looking to do for moving forward? I think another check on that too, it's a little bit complicated depending on the market size. I don't want to go into the rabbit hole on this, but if it's a larger organization and, there are top 10 claimants, I want to see quarter by quarter, how are we treating those top 10 claimants? What are we doing to help them better manage their critical illnesses or their health conditions? And is it turning the dial at all on their specific prognosis and diagnosis? And that is like a whole other topic in itself of getting really, really deep with understanding claims and how it's impacting the spending of the healthcare.
Wow. 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 Okay, so
Good stuff.
if I'm a CEO, or if there's a not CEO, CFO, correct,
Both of them,
excuse me,
really.
if
And
I'm
we need the C-suite,
yeah,
right?
decision
They-
maker, anybody who can make a decision. If I'm listening to you speak right now, what's the ROI conversation you wish more companies had about those benefits?
So when it comes to the ROI and the benefits, I think this is something that every business owner and C-suite executives should be reviewing. So, and that's the relationship with your advisor. These relationships are sometimes long term. Sometimes it's, some team member brought in a specific relationship that they've had for X amount of years. But the question that everyone on that team should be asking together is, how are we evaluating this advisor? What are the metrics that we're using to evaluate this advisor? What is the performance versus actual results been over the years? Is this advisor actually deriving value to my organization and to my employees, and how? I think just by asking these multiple questions, if their answers are no, or, well, I really like this person, or
Mhm.
my cousin or my brother, and so I wanted them, to have this opportunity, maybe it's time to consider another solution, a different strategy. And that's where it sounds, or where we've made a lot of stride. And Brian, I know you and I have had a conversation about this as well. And relationships, I get it. It's this entire industry, same with payroll, it's built
Mhm.
off of relationships.
Yep.
Who what are they doing for you? What is the value they're providing you?
Yep.
But it's always a great idea to make sure that as an organization, you're making this decision as a team and you're working with someone that really is driving that value, not because they're, this long-term relationship that somebody had.
So you made me think of a few things here. One, you're absolutely right. One, like if they don't change the broker a lot, but when I do see the change, it's because we get a different HR leader,
Yes.
right? And it's like all of a sudden they need a new broker, and it's like, oh, and I never thought about it until we had that conversation. Never even thought, but then I was like, wait a minute. Oh my gosh, yeah. So
Yes.
my question is this: is it something that companies should actually go to market for? Can you go to market for your broker, like, and interview new brokers?
You can. Yeah, and we've seen that many times
Wow.
with vendor. We've been approached by various sizes of companies. Usually larger organizations are the ones that are gonna have a full RFP. They're gonna have
Wow.
a bigger RFP with specific
I didn't
questions that
even
they
know.
want. Yeah, that they want you to deliver on, and how they're going to rate you, measure you, judge your ability to best serve their company and their employees. I think one thing too that, that stands out with these relationships is that the HR, or whoever the main decision maker is, it's their relationship, but it's the company, it's the employees that are being impacted. And so, I think that's important, that for any HR leader or decision maker to think about, the decisions that you're making today, how are they impacting your employees? Is it helping them, or is it
Yes.
hurting them?
Yes.
Is it time to maybe do a check? To be honest with you, I've seen it time and time again. Oh, I really don't want to give this. I feel bad. I don't really want to fire them. It's it's never taken personally. It's
Yep.
just sometimes time to move on to a
Especially if it could
different.
look better for you, for your employees.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I see things happen in departments, and I'm like, poor employees. Gosh,
Yeah.
man, the employees are getting impacted. Folks make payroll mistakes, bad decisions. The employees are getting impacted.
Yeah. Wow.
that's
Wow.
right.
So as a payroll pro, how could I, in your opinion, how could I work more effectively with my benefits team?
It's a good one.
Such a good one. Collaborate, talk, have an open platform. What I do with any partners that I work with I schedule time on a monthly basis, and it's a check-in. It's let's talk about all of our mutual clients that we had together. Let's talk about where we're at. If it was, a brand new policy, were the payroll deductions set up properly? That has got to be the worst that for you guys to have on the payroll side, but also for the benefits people to have. Hey, you owe 2 months worth of payroll deductions for your benefits. No one wants to hear that ever.
Nope.
For real. Oh my God.
No one wants to hear that. Nobody wants to explain that.
No one
Nope.
wants to explain it. The benefits people are looking at the payroll like, will you explain it?
Yeah.
It's, and so by having those core processes down while working closely with one another, it's key. It's an area too, I think, that is so often overlooked. Just that pure, collaboration. I've seen it firsthand, having
Yeah.
to explain or watching or listening into a conversation of, sorry, we made a mistake here,
Oh my
so
God.
enrolled or so and so was termed and you're still getting billed premium for them. These are tough conversations, but these are real conversations that are happening in everyday corporate America of benefits and payroll. How do we make it easier? And so what we have done here to eliminate that human error at Sounder, we have these integration capabilities with our tech. And so goes over on a feed, seamless.
Sweet.
It's part of that human error. But I still like to have these check-ins of like, what's going on? And
Trust but verify.
trust and verify. And the technology too, it's not perfect, right? And so sometimes an error happens. Well,
Yeah.
there's a specific error. I'm dealing with right now, working on a integration with Sounder and another payroll vendor. And there's a lot of errors coming through between, this technology is saying one thing, but then the payroll system is saying something else. Well, which one's correct? Right?
Yeah.
We don't want
Yeah.
the wrong information to get wiped out of the system. So
Yep.
the integration technology, though, it's not new and it's not unique to Sounder.
And it's
either.
not AI.
Yeah, and it's not AI.
Yeah.
So I don't look at it necessarily as like, this is what Sounder built because it's out there, the tech exists, but we offer this to all of our clients, no cost to them. It's something
Amazing.
that, it's something that we want to be able to support them and not say, hey, you want to put a benefits plan together? Great. Now you have to hire someone to handle benefit administration and payroll.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
So as we wrap up here, where's the best place for people to connect with you and learn more about Sounder benefits?
Yeah, thanks so much, Brian.
Of course.
So anyone can, reach out to me, connect on LinkedIn on my profile or go to our Sounder benefits homepage. But in addition to that, we have an entire channel for outreach. That's just info@sounderbenefits.com.
Amazing.
Or feel free to DM me on LinkedIn. I'm always on LinkedIn, just like the two of you. And then always here to have a conversation.
Love it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
definitely reach
All right.
out.
So we love to play a little game with our guests.
Oh, no.
Called Think of That.
A little something to, break up all the business
Yeah.
talk.
So we have 6 questions, and then we're going to end it with the question of the day, just for a quick, might be controversial, depending on your answer. but
Right.
we'll
This
see.
Let me open my AI tool here.
You're gonna
That's so
laugh
funny.
because I've had separate conversations with both of you about this topic when we get to the end. It's so funny. Okay, go ahead. Let's do this or that first.
So you can say either one or
Both,
neither or
neither,
both,
yeah.
right? So, all right. So I'm going to do the first 3, and then Brian will finish it off. Slack or email?
Slack.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
just thinking the same thing.
All right. Which is more important to you? The employee experience or cost control?
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Oh, both of them are.
Okay. All right. Would you prefer actually reading like a textbook or reading something on screen?
Textbook.
Okay. All right.
All right. AI assistant or human assistant advisor?
I would have to say human because AI, we're not quite there
Not
yet.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're getting there.
we're
We're getting
getting there.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I still haven't started talking to it yet. Like a lot of people talk to the AI. I still
Yeah.
haven't done that yet. I haven't gotten through that friction. Next one. Okay. Annual strategy reset or monthly optimization?
monthly optimization. Never let your benefits become a runaway train. If you're only
Good
speaking with
advice.
your if you're only speaking with your advisor upon renewal season, it's time to reevaluate.
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
Yep. And yeah. And you said something to me in a conversation and I was like, "Oh, it's not the advisor's fault." And you were like, "No, it is actually because they should have reached out to you and been proactive." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, you're right." You know?
Yeah,
That white glove service is that customer service, right? That Sounder
Yeah.
brings. I mean, it's so exciting. Last one. New York bagel or New York pizza?
uh, both.
Both. Yes. Gotta do both.
Oh my
Gotta
gosh.
do both.
On the same day, even better. Total.
Carb overload.
And let's go. That's a good day.
That is a good day. Yeah, for real.
That's a good day. All right. So, question of the day. In your opinion, overall, has ACA helped or hurt more, and why?
And I didn't prompt him to this. This is all on his own.
Well, this is a little bit of a lengthy answer. If
It's
that's
okay.
All right. So I would say when the Affordable Care Act rolled out, it was impactful. Why? Because now all of a sudden those with pre-existing conditions could get coverage without it.
Mm,
So they could seek care. Dependents could now all of a sudden stay on their parents' plan to age 26.
hmm
And we also created this standard in the small group market of metallic level plans, platinum, gold, silver, bronze. The strategy is the same. The subsidies were also a really big deal. I think that when the individual mandate went away, which caveat there, because some states do still have an individual mandate, New Jersey being one of them, you still have to have some type of coverage in place. I think though, when the individual mandate went away as a whole, that's where it started chipping away. The Cadillac provision never was implemented. There were also
Oh,
certain
I remember
parts.
that.
Yeah. There are certain parts of the law too that greatly impacted health insurers, the reinsurance fee being one of them. I happened to be working on the carrier side at that time when I saw firsthand what happens with the reinsurance
Wow.
fee, and we'll save that for another day. But I think all of these things, were impactful with the ACA, but then it started chipping away. And I think one of the most devastating things is that the subsidies and the individual market have gone away as of December 31st, 2025.
Wow.
And so, most Americans, if you're a sole proprietor, a business owner, if you don't qualify for group coverage, you're in the individual exchange marketplace. If you have a subsidy, amazing, right? It's helping you because you qualify, right? You have to be eligible for that subsidy. But I have seen firsthand, even, working with individuals in person, getting them signed up for affordable coverage, and then to see that affordable coverage now, the rates are so, so high, right? That we're now going back to where we were prior to the ACI, where you would call the health insurance carrier and you would say, I need to cover my family. And they would say, okay, $3,000. In New York, We have the highest rates in the entire country. We have a community rated system that was from the 90s, way before the ACA.
Wow.
And so, these rates, everyone continues to question when is it going to stop? Where is it going to end? We're just going to keep going up. Rates are just going to keep increasing year after year. And so, what's going to happen is that ICRAs are going to become more popular, I believe. But that's not a great strategy because now your employees are in the individual market. In the individual market, it's not a great place to be.
Wow.
Networks and whatnot. So I think the ACA, did it make healthcare more accessible and affordable? Yes, at one point. I think that unfortunately in our country, it's gotten really political. I personally think healthcare should be a right. I think everyone should have access to incredible healthcare.
For real.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for that answer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was long-winded.
No, it was
Oh, that was
great.
great. That was great.
Yep,
That was
that was
perfect.
great. I mean, I'd love to have you back one day just to kind of talk more because there's so much that payroll folks
Yeah.
can benefit, no pun intended here, benefit from the benefit conversation, learn from the benefit conversation. Because I've always been on, right? We're always on this side and we're always asking each other stuff about benefits. I'm like, I don't know, dude. Look at that. Like, sometimes we know a little bit, we help each other out, but it's like, I don't know.
Right. I'd
Yeah.
love that. I mean, with the ACA too, when it first rolled out, I remember that was like very early on in my career. And I had said, I want to learn this law like the back of my
Wow.
hand. I want to learn everything about it. And then my team, they had counted on me and they said, like, we need you to just know this law inside and out and then advise us. And so that's what I did. I printed it out. I had like the Bible
Oh
on
my
my desk.
gosh.
I would read
Oh my
it.
goodness.
I would highlight things. But then what was really interesting is that I also saw certain laws being interpreted as the carriers thought it should be. And so
That
all of a
still
sudden,
happens. Yep.
yeah.
Oh
And
my
so instead
gosh.
of these, standards, so to speak, were adopted. And I was like, wait a second, this wasn't even like written this way in the law. So it was really, really interesting time. But yeah, I'd love to.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have you back.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for the time and all that you shared. Don't forget, folks, sounderbenefits.com.
That's right.
And I like the open channel. You said info at sounderbenefits.com.
That's right.
I'm gonna reach out if you need I think if you're a payroll person that has any influence in your department, let them know there are better options out there than that broker that is the benefits person's aunt that's been there for 25 years.
Thank-
Oh,
right.
auntie.
Not auntie, right? But it's so true. It's so true. Yeah. All right, folks. Until the next time, we love you. Have a great night.